Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. And this time, it's going to be a 1 vs 1 on King Sejong Station between these two clan members that consist of the blue Protoss player, Neeb, and up top we have our red Zerg player, Scarlett. Of course, we're going to speed this on up to the 8x mark, to the 2-minute point of the game, and everything starts to get good, and all the units come out, and looks like we have a pylon to block the hatchery right off the bat there. And so instead, just going to expand up there. And so not too big of a deal. Going to slow her down a little bit. But other than that, not a problem for any pro player. The Nexus coming up at the natural here. And a gateway. And so with that there, going to get destroyed by those Zerglings. And again, not a big deal at all. It's going to slap another hatchery there. So we're going to have 2 hatcheries up. One right after another, just waiting for that 300 mineral mark. There we go, and away it goes. And now these Zerglings are on the way out, and this is really indicative of Scarlett's play, if you will. And it seems like she always goes 4 Zerglings here, well 2 Zerglings technically, and moves them across the map to scout out. And a lot of players don't, some do, some don't. And so now gonna run into that Adept. And Adept was looking for some trouble. And going to defend the area here from these Zerglings. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for one Adept, but they could get around him and perhaps get to the probes. But again, shouldn't be much of a problem. Another Stalker here on the way. And are going to be going up the ramp here. And this is probably just to scout out and see what's going on. Sees an Adept, sees a Cybernetics core, and may have seen that Stalker move out as well. A couple gateways in the middle. And Twilight Council at the main base there, and I'm gonna try to use this Stalker to get rid of that pesky Overlord. And can it get it down? It's always the struggle to get the Overlord down before it gets away, and looks like it's definitely gonna happen though. And I'm not sure if I have casted a game on this map or not yet. King Sejong Station, and I'm assuming that's how it's spelled. Maybe it's pronounced like Sejong or something. Who knows? But either way, the Adept here is taking the brunt of all this damage. He transfers over there and doesn't quite make it. But either way, the Stalker was there to back everything up, so those Zerglings were not getting in anytime soon. Adept on the way again. And we'll see what Scarlett decides to do this game. And looks like a Roach Warren up, so I'm not sure, not really going to see any Muta play this time around. And there really is no Phoenix, any Starport or anything like that. Dark Shrine coming on up. And so Mutas right now probably would work out pretty well, especially with the expansion right here. The Mutas could just fly there, take a whole bunch of probes out, and have very little resistance in that until some Photons and or Phoenix and or Stalkers, what have you. Plenty of ways to counter it, but either way could get the jump on the Protoss, take out a bunch of those probes, do some economic damage, and then be ahead of the game. And we'll see if a macro hatch decides to spawn its way into the game. And the Roaches trying to catch up to the Adepts here, and are they going to transfer or not? And they do. And transfers right into the base, and I definitely seen that one coming as the Roaches are pretty slow, and the Adepts got ahead of them, but I'm not sure if they're going to do too much damage here. And looks like they got maybe 1 drone and transferred back towards the expansion, but again, the trickiness is not quite enough for Scarlett. And now we have Dark Templar moving across the way. And we'll see if Scarlett can handle this or not. I don't believe there are any Overseers just yet. Some Spore Crawlers are coming up, perhaps suspecting something is going on here, and sees the Dark Templar. Dark Templar split up. One of them at the expansion, one going in the main base, and one of them at the other expansion. And so Dark Templar here chewing up some of those drones, but not really doing too much economic damage. Up here, it definitely is, as they moved, as Scarlett had to move all of her drones off of the line. And a Spore Crawler coming up here. No vision to be had. The Spore Crawler just now up. And so instead, the Dark Templar takes off somewhere else. But not too many other places to really harass. The hatchery coming up here could be harassed, but doesn't. Don't know if he actually sees that just yet or not. And no, has no clue that there is a new hatchery coming up over there. And it would certainly be worth a look-see, as Zerg are sneaky like that, and you always got to check every expansion all the time. The new Zerg expansion can pop up all the time, as they are, you know, I mean, they're kind of insects or what have you. And they spawn very, very quickly. And now Adepts in the Warp Prism here, moving towards the base, and should be able to unload around here, or even at the bottom here, and maybe get away with it, and warp in a ton more along with them, depending on how many gateways he actually has. And looks like a bunch more are coming up now. Robo producing some Immortals there, and looks like these Adepts will not... Oh, no, they actually get back in the Warp Prism and make it on out of there. Look, I was about to say, it wasn't looking too good for those Adepts there. And not much economic damage has been done to Scarlett just yet. And when you don't do enough economic damage to the Zerg and let them expand, and you've pretty much signed your own death warrant, and some Adepts had transferred up there to take away some of the pressure from this expansion, but it didn't quite work. And now here comes the main army here. 3 Archons in front and a ton of Stalkers, couple Immortals in the back, so nothing really going to counter this too easily. And that is a very good makeup of units. Couple sentries in there. Really commend this mix of units. And Roach is just going to get annihilated by the Immortals and the Archons themselves. Meanwhile, the Adepts and Stalkers going to be in charge of doing all the high DPS here. And here we go. Lots of Zerglings and some Ravagers to bile this ball of Protoss that are moving on in. But this expansion is totally screwed, leaving Scarlett with only 3 hatcheries, that is. And I don't believe she has a... No, she does have a macro hatch. Scarlett almost always makes a macro hatch. And a very nice kill there. Nice little surround. Got a couple extra units, but the majority still alive. Banelings ready to go and take out all these Adepts. So it's going to be hard to get through the Stalker line, and the Archon's going to soak up quite a bit of those Banelings. So it's a matter of getting around to the Adepts, and so far keeping a pretty good watch on his Adepts and keeping them in the center of his army. And now the Adepts are up front, and that would have been a perfect time to Baneling rush. And this is also good force field territory for the Zerg as well. Could easily cut off the majority of this army. And it's a matter of does he have the energy or not. Archon soaked up a ton of those Banelings, pretty much all of them that hit that one Archon there, and that is definitely not good for Scarlett, and she is going down here pretty quickly. And now all the drones in desperation mode swarming those Protoss. But the drones not gonna be enough. There just is nothing on the field to deal with this. Here comes some more Zerglings to try and take this out, but again, they are just in retreat. They are being routed as well. And now the Mutalisks come out on the field, and I think the Mutalisks should have come a long time ago. That would have been a great play for Scarlett, considering the way this map is set up. That expansion is so vulnerable to any kind of air harassment, and there were no photons there at the time at all. And, well, these pylons here could have been overcharged, and there were a few Stalkers. I think it would have done a lot of economic damage right there. And even this expansion here, and overall this map is just a little open expansions. This one's a little bit more defended just because it's against the edge of the screen there, but this one is so open the Mutalisks could have done a lot of damage. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.